Okay, we're in a nice Mallorcan village and I've had the opportunity to catch up with Thorsten Radde. Thanks so much for joining us today, Thorsten.
Well, thanks for having me. I mean, first time we meet after exchanging a bunch of emails, so it's always fun to meet the actual person in the flesh.
Well,
on
that note, Thorsten is from TriRating. If you're not aware, Thorsten has helped us out massively on the channel when we've come to data analysis and number crunching for races. So I'd really like Thorsten today to explain what TriRating is, how it works, and in particular we're going to use Ironman Lanzarote as an example, given that it is one of the most popular and hardest Ironmans on the European circuit, and it's coming up in just a couple of weeks' time. So first things first, with Ironman Lanzarote, it's notoriously a tough course, and this is where your rating system really comes into play. So talk me through how it works.
Well, basically I do a comparison between the times that people finish versus the times they did on other courses. And by doing a bunch of math, then I can say, okay, how much of that fast or slow time was because the guy or the girl had a good race or a bad race, or how much was influenced by the course being hard or slow. And that allows me to come up with what I call a course rating, expressed as a time that a course compared to a, well, so-called neutral course is faster or slower. So if you look at Lanzarote, for example, I think the course rating is around minus 18 minutes.
Yes, yes.
18 minutes slower than a neutral course, something in the order. The Kona is usually pretty good around neutral. But then if you look at something like Texas had this year an adjustment of 30 minutes. So there's almost an hour between the times of someone finishing in Texas and someone finishing in Lanzarote. That basically is the same performance.
So I guess where this comes into play is, I mean, Ironman have their own Kona points ranking system, and that puts athletes in order of, basically it just looks at their finished places. Right. But this actually takes into account the athlete's form and how they're performing through the year. Even if, you know, it takes into, well, you explain to us, what does it take into account?
Well, I mean, the thing it only takes into account is the finishing time, and compare that to what the athlete has raced before. So I can say, did she have a good race or a bad race on that course compared to how everyone else was doing on that same day. So I look at the times, and of course that is not perfect information either. Maybe someone was leading by 20 minutes, so she didn't run all out, or someone was having a flat on the bike. But I think overall time is a much better, or adjusted times is a much better comparison for performances from course to course, from year to year, than looking at whether someone finished 7th in a strong field or whether someone won an Ironman where basically no one else showed up.
So using Ironman Lanzarote as an example, you can use your TriRating system to see who is in form and who the top athletes are that we should be looking out for. So with that Lanzarote in mind, we have, well, do you want to chat us through who your pick are?
Yeah, we've got 3 Europeans at the top of the male rankings, Rania, Alessandro De Gasperi and Cyril Vigneault. All 3 of them pretty established athletes on the European circuit. And then adding in Cam Worth from Australia, strong biker, strong, hopefully decent swimmer by now, and hopefully a bit better runner than what I have him, averaging his previous results. So that could make things pretty interesting.
So these times that you've used for the swim, the bike, the run, they're all adjusted times from recent races. And I mean, we can see if Van Rana's got a very strong swim and run. His bike perhaps isn't as strong as Cyril Vigneault's, and definitely not Cameron Worth's, but overall you've tallied it out to put him as the top.
Yeah, I mean, Rania finished a couple of times in the top 10 in Kona. He's got good results on other courses as well. And obviously, as a Spaniard racing in a Spanish race, he'll be extra motivated to do really well. But yeah, things could get really interesting because the dynamics of the race, you can kind of discern from the numbers that I put out there. Cam likely going to go off the front on the bike. He shouldn't be too far back after the swim, and then he's likely going to take control of the race on the bike.
Well, similarly for the women's race, so again, do you want to go through your top pick here?
Yeah, for the women, if all 3 of them are raced, that should be an absolutely incredible race to see.
It's going to be close going by this.
Yvonne van Vlerken, Lucy Gossage and Michelle Vesterby, all 3 of them pretty much even strengths and weaknesses as well. Maybe Michelle, the better swimmer than the others, but all of them pretty even, and it's going to be a close race.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's going to be real close on the run, and I think I have them within just 2 or 3 minutes at the end. So a lot will depend on who's going to have a good day and who's going to maybe not have a good day.
Fantastic. Well, this has been super interesting, Thorsten, and well, I'll be interested to see what the results are on the day.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's always the thing. Either I exactly hit the numbers, and then obviously it was easy to predict who would win, or I'm totally off, and then that shows the numbers don't work at all. But usually you can narrow it down to a handful of athletes that do have a chance of winning a race. Sometimes it's an obvious one who's way ahead of everyone else. But yeah, for Lanzarote this year, it should be pretty close and interesting racing.
So watch out. Well, thanks so much for that, Thorsten. Really interesting, and it's going to be super interesting to see what happens on the day in Ironman Lanzarote and see how close your predictions get.
We'll see how that turns out, and I think you have a video on new Ironman pros to watch out that I sent you some ideas over and that you expanded on.
Yes.
So that's an interesting one to watch as well.
Yeah, and you can see that by just clicking down here. And if you'd like to see more videos from GTN, you can click on the globe and subscribe. And to see a pro bike, just click down here.